Long time ago when I was learning blues and blues rock, I learned it was based on the pentatonic scale. It wasn't until much later that I learned that that wasn't really quite right. I'll tell you what I mean and how to take advantage of it coming right up. I often hear that Hendrix, Clapton, B.B. King, Stevie Ray Vaughan, and the like were just pentatonic players. That always gets my blood boiling a little bit because there's so much more to the blues than the fretted notes that we play or the scale patterns that we play. As you know, blues came from the American South through work songs, and the melodies of those songs almost certainly came before the harmonies. Now, those melodies were not European in nature. They had roots in Africa. They didn't sound like a European melody, something like this. Instead, they sounded more like a bluesy melody, something like this. Because of that, and because the guitar is a fretted instrument that came from Europe, the pentatonic scale is really just an approximation to capture the notes that we need if we're going to play authentic blues melodies. And in fact, if we want to play blues melodies, we really have to even play notes that don't even have names in standard Western notation. They fall in between the cracks of the named notes. Think of Muddy Waters singing Willie Dixon's You Need Love. Or if you're a Zeppelin fan, think of Robert Plant singing their version of it, Whole Lotta Love. The I'm not foolin', you need schoolin' line doesn't sound like this. It sounds a little bit more like this. And that's really it. It's about playing blues melodies. If we want to play blues melodies, we have to accept that it's not strictly about playing particular scales or putting our fingers a particular place on the fretboard or getting fretboard vision. My younger theory-minded self had a hard time accepting that. But once I did, my play got a lot better. All right, so where do we go from here? Let's say we accept that knowing the 5 pentatonic positions is not the be-all and end-all of the blues and blues rock. Where do we start? Well, I think one great place to start is the blue notes. Let's start, of course, with the minor pentatonic scale, shown here in A. That's going to be our starting approximation. All right, let's add some blues to that. Now, there are a few blue notes, but let's add the note that I think makes the most immediate effect, the blue third. If we look at a simple A major triad and now an A minor triad, we see the only difference is the third. The blue third is the note between these two notes, the major and the minor third. So here's where we'll find it on our pentatonic scale that we showed before, and just a couple of other places as well. Mind-boggling, the blue third isn't even a named note on the guitar fretboard. So that presents a problem. How do we play it? Well, it's a good thing we're guitar players because we've got a few options. The first and probably best way to do it is to bend to it like this. And here we're bending from the minor third right here to the major third right here. But we don't want to bend all the way, just part of the way. I always think of this as kind of like the yearning sound of the blues. So you might use it in a line like this. Sounds really cool. Just doing that little tweak makes a huge difference in the sound of your play. So definitely do that if you haven't yet. It's going to make a big difference. Now, another way that we can do it is to approximate it by hammering on or sliding from the minor third to the major third. This is a way a piano player would do it because they can't bend. Now, the slide and the hammer-on are both very similar, and they, again, go from the minor third to the major third. So it's a slide would be this, and a hammer-on would be this. And a typical line might be something like this. For some reason, going from the major third to the minor third is usually not done. It's not as common. I think maybe it's because you have to use method 1 of bending anyway if you do that. Now the hammer-on usually sounds a little more uptown, a little bit jazzier, but it is used in things like Clapton's Crossroads, uses that all the time in a turnaround lick. That is a hammer-on to the third. Another thing we can do is trill. That is repeatedly hammer on and pull off from the minor third to the major third, like this. trill isn't so much a vocal effect, but it's a really cool thing because it gives you the minor third and the major third both at once. It's kind of simultaneous. Now, one thing we can also do, just like a conversation, we can use any of those methods and mix and match. It's a lot of fun. Tweaking the blue third makes a huge difference, but it's only the tip of the iceberg. Click on this video to accelerate your blues even further. When you combine these techniques, you'll multiply your improvement by 4, 5, maybe 10 times. So click on this and we'll see it in the next video.